little bit of a crash out. No, I'm not. But freaking out a little bit because this is like my third attempt to record this. But hey, welcome back. It's been a while. It's been a little bit more than a while. It's been a couple months since my last Artist Way update. I think my last video was in April, which is definitely a while ago. So, before we get into it, I'm going to read an entry I have discussing the Artist Way, or discussing getting back into the Artist Way. And then we can get into today's video. I'm torn on whether or not I should just start all over, but all in all, I think it makes little difference. I need to be able to unlock my creativity and melt this huge block. Sure, I don't make tangible art, but I need creativity to come up with ideas to share. I know I am the art, but I can't share the art without figuring out how. It is in my hands. I can't keep imagining there's some external that will come. I can't wait for agents, scouts, directors, whoever, and I gotta work with what I have where I'm at. I am a star and I have the creativity in me. I need to tap back into the creator I know. I know and recognize the importance of withdrawal, and I definitely have done a great job doing so. Now it's time to focus on the other parts of this journey. I don't really know. I was debating whether or not I go back to week one. But I think we're just going to continue, honestly. Don't judge me. Hashtag don't judge me challenge. This is week 5 of the Artist Way. Week 5, I'm going to try to speed run through this video. Week 5, because this is just like, like a, hey, welcome back. Week 5 is recovering a sense of possibility, which definitely needed. I've read this chapter multiple times over the past couple months because, again, it's just the chapter that I'm stuck on every time. Like, I haven't moved past. Basically, I'm examining my payoffs and remaining stuck, which is basically what I've done all summer. I was stuck all summer and realizing what that meant, like being stuck. What I was losing and not gaining by being stuck. You explain how you curtail your own possibilities by placing limits on the good you can receive. Examine the cost of settling for appearing good instead of being authentic. Thinking about radical changes, no longer ruling out your growth by making others the cause of my constriction. Which again is something I do. Maybe I think, maybe if this didn't happen in my life, then I would be here. Maybe if I lived here, I would be here. Maybe if I knew this person, I would be here. And just stop placing all these barriers. So much can happen wherever you are, whenever, with whoever, I don't know. The first line of this chapter, one of the chief barriers to accepting God's generosity is our limited notion of what we are able to accomplish. We place all these constrictions on ourselves based off of our, limited knowledge of what reality is. And we think we're doing ourselves our favor by being realistic when we're taking away so many possibilities. And so that's a huge thing that we talk about this chapter. Another huge thing this chapter discusses is basically when we think that we're being good and we're doing all these things to help other people out, we're basically pouring into other people's cups until we are empty, and then we snap. So it also emphasizes the importance of basically withdrawal, which I feel like I did. I have learned and noticed. I mean, I understand the importance of withdrawal for sure. So 2 major things that I took away: the importance of withdrawal and stop trying to just be a people pleaser, basically, and how don't put your creative lives into human hands. There's so much that God has. He has a lot of money. God has a lot of movie ideas, novel ideas, poems, everything. You just need to listen to the creator within, and we are led to the right path. And I'm just time passing is making me know that maybe I'm just running away from it, that I need to get back and connect to the creator that I know, the creator I know within. Just get back to that, and maybe it is scary. I don't know. One of the activities this week actually is discussing what makes you not believe in a supportive God, grievances maybe that you've had that you haven't confronted. I have grievances, my personal grief, um, things, tragedies I've been through, or like things that I like dealing with in my day to day. Maybe I feel like have been holding me back. Just you need to confront those, push them to the side, move on. And so maybe this chapter was also a reminder of like what I've been running away from, I guess. We talk about a lot of things in this chapter. What would I try if it weren't too crazy? What would I try if it weren't too selfish? We talk about the virtue trap, which is, by seeking the creator within and embracing our own gift of creativity, we learn to be spiritual in this world, to trust that God is good, and so are we, and so is all of creation. And just remember that, like, God can be good to me, despite things that I think or like the things that I feel like I've been through. So, I'm not gonna go through all my answers from the activities for sure. We're just gonna skip right to the check-in. No. Before we get into that, we talk about like we do rapid fire wishes, like I wish. Answer. It makes you realize like things that you think are too crazy or that you can't achieve. It was nice to get back into it. I'm gonna be honest. Talk about your favorite creative blog and like the payoff, basically what you are losing by. I wrote it down. I'm sorry. Basically, the payoff for staying blocked. Like, if I'm staying blocked, what am I not accomplishing? And so, basically, like, confronting that. Does my life serve me or only others? Am I self-destructive? This is a question that I really was, like, these are questions that I really was, like, thinking about, like, deeply. Because I was torn. I feel like I'm in a place where neither. I don't feel like I'm doing enough to serve others, but I also don't feel like I'm doing enough to serve myself. Like, I can't say like I'm really serving myself, but I don't feel like I'm like taking away from myself by giving to others, because I've come to a place where I know how to withdraw from that. I don't know. I kind of feel useless. I'm not gonna lie, and it's just like what I wrote is my life somehow just exists. Maybe I am a little self-destructive. Maybe I do self-sabotage. I don't really know. So morning pages will tell me. Okay, we'll get back into that in a little bit. My check-in. Okay, let's get into the check-in. How many days did you do the morning pages? Are you starting to like them? How was the experience? Have you discovered the page and a half truth point? I did 6 days. However, not all of them were 3 pages. But a lot of them were more than 3 pages. But some were just like maybe a page, half a page, or just a quick check-in. I wrote easing back into it. Of course, I have been journaling, but not always with intention of it being the morning page. So I do like it, but now I'm easing back into it being, I'm doing the morning pages. Obviously I like it extends. I finished my last journal. So like, yeah, but sometimes I'm torn where I feel like I'm just saying the same thing every day all the time. Like, if I go back to this day last year, would I feel like I'm in the same place mentally? I kind of feel like if I open my journal to this date last year and compare my entries, I feel like I go through the same like roller coaster of emotions every week. So I don't know. Sometimes I feel like, I just really need a win. But how am I going to get a win if I don't? Sometimes I feel like I'm putting the effort into getting a win, and when I don't get the win, I like back off. Then I'm like, how are you going to get the win when you're not working to get the win? And it's just like, I don't know. I just feel like a clown sometimes. I don't know. I don't even know. Artist day. Did you do your artist day? Have you had the experience of hearing answers during this leisure time? What did you do for your date? How did it feel? Have you taken an artist date that felt adventurous? I'm going to answer the last question. No, I have not. I feel like my artist dates have gone since I started this. I'm not going to lie. I have had anxiety. So my little like radius for like leaving the house has like gone smaller. So my days are like closer to the house. I don't know how I'm gonna confront that. I'm not gonna lie, but yes, I did do an artist date this week. It was just a simple painting moment. I kept it simple. Um, I haven't done anything like artsy, literally probably since my last update as well. So I was happy that I got back into it, even though if it was something simple. This was my painting. Oh my gosh, the light. Okay, yeah, there you go. It's supposed to be a flame or a match, but I don't know. I just started doing more colors. So, but yeah, that was my artist day. I just hope that I'm able to think of more, because Loki, the artist day, is what has held me back from continuing the artist way. Because I'm like, I'm not being adventurous, so I feel like I'm doing myself a disservice. So I'm like, oh, I'll try again next week. I'll try again next week, and then I just so who knows. I feel like I've been slacking. Synchronicity, I'm unsure. I can't really think of anything of note. So hopefully, maybe back once we start like thinking about it and get back into it, we'll have something next week. Were there any other issues this week that you consider significant for your recovery? Describe them. I'm personally just glad I'm getting ready to get back into it. I need all the unblocking that I can get because I don't know. Like I'm saying, I do feel like I'm just like stuck in the same place. I thought this time this year I would have like everything knocked off, or at least have, and I feel like it's just a handful, if even that. So I don't know. I'm about to get sad, so let's not think about that too much. We are here. We're gonna lock in again. I promise. I hope. And by the end of this year, we are completely like in our flow state. Some upsides. We've grown from what, 300 or 200 subs from my last update check in till now we're like 900 and something. So we have gotten some good this year. We've gotten some ideas for sure. Um, I don't know. Again, I just sometimes I feel like, oh my god, girl, you are such a loser, or like so useless. But like, I don't want to speak to myself that way. I know I'm capable of achieving great things, and I'm always at the right place at the right time. And my creativity is a divine gift. I express it freely and accomplish all my desires with ease. So we're gonna do that. And we'll be back for week 6, week 7, week 8, week 9, 10, 11, 12, and accomplish all our desires with ease. So, see you next time, girl. You have so much to achieve.